Hello and welcome back to Ziki1 Plays. I'm so glad that you've joined me this evening. Today I'm going to be talking just a little bit about games that I'm playing now or that I've played in the last few years that just hit different during the autumn or fall time of year. Let's get right into it. Thanks for checking out my channel. I am a small channel, but I'm pushing toward 1,000 subscribers. It would help me a lot if you could help me reach that goal. We're almost there. Comment, subscribe, like, whatever you can do to help would be great. Let's get right into it. So last week I'm sitting around, I'm playing a couple different games right now. And like I said, didn't have a whole lot of time to record, but I'm playing some Metroid Prime. And I'm also playing a new game that I've gotten into called LDre, which is super fun. And all of a sudden, I get this urge. Okay, I need to go and download Sekiro, which is one of my favorite games of all time. And I started to wonder, like, why am I doing this? I've beaten it. I've gotten a trophy for it. I'm done playing, and I've played it a couple times since then. And it hit me. There was something cozy or like comfortable about going back to that game during this time of year. So I did. I downloaded it. I started playing through the tutorial area, and I'm probably going to go ahead and play through the rest of the game. Of course, playing through it after playing through it several times before goes a lot quicker than the first time. But it got me on this idea of what are some other cozy or spooky fall time games that I'm always eager to pick up during this time of year. And if you like my list, pick one or two of them up. Feel free to take a look at them yourself. Otherwise, too, I would love to hear your picks down below. Do you have a fall time game that you always go back to this time of year? So without further ado, let's start right there where I started, which is Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. This game is just incredible. First of all, I mean, it won Game of the Year at many different award shows, but also it does have a bit of a fall, autumn time feel to it. There's a lot of brown leaves in a couple of sections of the game. There's also this sense of like a waning season, you know, things coming to a close before the winter hits, and on top of all of that, once you get into the rhythm of it, although it is very difficult, you can find yourself doing almost like a dance through the combat of the game. I love this game, and for some reason, I think the waning empire and the fall time leaves and the fields that you get to fight in, I think that it definitely scratches that fall time feeling that I'm looking for. Now, before we get into the rest of my list, I want to mention kind of a category here that a lot of people tend to do games in during this time of year, and that is the cozy gaming category. So first that comes to my mind is things like Animal Crossing, New Horizons, or whatever version of that game you like to play. Stardew Valley is another game that comes to mind, as well as, like, for me as a Pokemon player, you know, super into shiny hunting Pokemon. It feels good this time of year to do a little bit of shiny hunting in Pokemon Black and White, you know, because they have the season mechanic, and you can go on to certain routes and stuff during autumn, and they have like a whole fall flair to them, right? And there's even some fall time routes in Pokemon X and Y and in the Galar region, Pokemon Sword and Shield. So these are games that are like you're probably already playing other times of the year, but during the fall time they have an extra level of coziness to them. And then there's also your fall time games that are like set in the fall, such as Night in the Woods. Have you ever played that game before? It's an indie game, and the whole thing has to do with the autumn time, and that's where the whole story takes place. And so those games are great, but that's not really what I'm focusing on today. But the next one on my list is one that I recently discovered, and it fits this coziness category, and that is LDre. LDre is a game I've been playing a lot recently, and it just feels so right to sit down with a warm drink, a controller in one hand, and just, you know, snuggle down into a very fun roguelike type of game. Now, you might say roguelike, I'm not really into that, but here's the reason why it's different, is because it's really at its heart a poker game. You're playing poker hands, and you're playing with a deck of 52 cards, and then it basically just changes the rules of poker here and there, and that is the basis of the game. So when you're playing with playing cards and poker, I mean, it's already something that is very familiar to a lot of us, and so I have just loved this game. I think, again, the replayability, the coziness of it really hits this autumn vibe that we're in right now. Okay, let's do a couple of spooky entries, and then we'll finish off with what I think is maybe the quintessential fall time game. Here's a couple of series that I've been getting into the last couple of years. One being the Five Nights at Freddy's, the 3D series. There's a couple of games out now. But Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, I played it actually last year during the Halloween season. It was so, it was cozy, but in a spooky way, right? You're creeping around this pizzaplex, trying to avoid the animatronics, find collectibles, all kinds of stuff. It was a super fun playthrough. And I'll definitely go back to this game at some point during the spooky season. But on a much even better level for me personally, I love the Poppy's Playtime series, specifically Poppy's Playtime Chapter 3. I haven't played Chapter 4 yet. I've been kind of waiting for the spooky season. I'm going to get into that here soon. But Poppy's Playtime 3 was just awesome. I played it through several times because I was trying to get the Platinum Trophy on it. But Catnap and the girl animatronic thing that's in the old playhouse, I don't remember what her name is, but there's so many like very creepy moments. And then also just the gameplay itself is so isolating, and it hits really perfectly during the Halloween season. Another one I discovered last year, which is one that a lot of people have played and sung its praises. But last year with the sequel coming out, I played Alan Wake for the first time during the spooky season last year. And let me just tell you, if you've never played this game before, it's so good. Don't go into it expecting incredible combat. Don't go into it expecting a very clear and easy to understand story. But take a look at it from the perspective of, I want all the feels of a supernatural horror mystery game during the spooky season, throwing myself into a story like that that's going to give me the creeps, and at the same time be really mysterious and engaging. That's what it was for me, and I loved my playthrough of it. Now, again, it's not a flawless game by any stretch, but I am actually downloading Alan Wake 2 for this spooky season, maybe to get into a little bit and see what it's like. But this is an incredible game to play in the fall. It does have some fall backdrops, actually, a couple of times as well. So, in terms of other horror games, I would say if you're new to horror video gaming, or maybe you haven't touched the Resident Evil series, a couple of entries that I would suggest that I actually played one of them during the spooky season a couple of years ago was Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7. Now, the one I played during Halloween time was Resident Evil 7, and this one, it feels like you're being thrust into like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or something of that nature, like a horror slasher type of movie, and trying to survive, trying to find your way out, trying to find your family and save them. And it is so how would you, atmospheric maybe, like puts you in a first person mode. And so Resident Evil 7, if you're looking to really be scared out of your mind, you've never touched that game before, give it a try during the spooky season. I'm sure that it will thrill you. Resident Evil 4 is a lot cozier. It feels more like an action game, but it too has some creepy elements, and it's a super fun classic game to pick up. All right. Our penultimate mention here is one of the, if not the best, Halloween time of the year games to play, and that is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I experienced this game for the first time last year in 2024, although it had been on my list for probably almost a decade at that point to play. But I had a PS5, and this game is available on PS5 through a small collection that you can purchase. I don't think it was like $20 or $30. It was pretty cheap. But Castlevania Symphony of the Night will at least satisfy you for 10, 12 hours, possibly even more. It is an in-depth Metroidvania-like game that's going to keep you going back and forth. It's also pretty difficult, so if you're looking for something a little more challenging, it's an awesome game as well. But it literally has a villain named Dracula in the game, and then you're also playing as some of my favorite few characters from the Smash Brothers series if you're into Super Smash Bros. And so Castlevania Symphony of the Night, it has an incredible legacy for a reason, and you should definitely give this game a play, and this time of year is the best time to do it. And finally, the quintessential fall game for me, the one that I play every year that I possibly get the chance, and I think you should too. It comes all the way back to my childhood, and it's probably why it's so rich for me this time of year. Luigi's Mansion. Okay, imagine this. I'm like 7, 8 years old. I've been playing all of the Mario games for my whole life so far, which is not very long, right? I've been playing Mario Kart, been playing Mario and Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, all this stuff. And then I get wind of this different kind of Mario game. It's spooky. It takes place in a mansion, and it's kind of eerie, right? And it stars Luigi, Mario's brother. Was one of, I liked him better than Mario at that point in my life, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. I remember as an 8, 9-year-old, this game actually giving me the creeps, like walking through the mansion all by yourself. And obviously I knew that it wasn't going to throw anything too scary at me, but I was on edge. It's a creepy atmospheric game, especially for that age of Nintendo gaming. I mean, they weren't really known for doing things like this with their IP. They had like some offshoots that would do some horror games, but not with the Mario characters, right? And so Luigi's Mansion to me stands far and above as one of the best games you can pull out during the fall time. It's cozy, it's spooky, it's isolating, it's got the Halloween vibe to it, right? Not to mention the gameplay is awesome and engaging. The bosses are fun, the story is cute. It's kind of got it all for this time of year. So if you're looking for something to play, those are my recommendations. Once again, just reading through the list here, we got Sekiro. We got the cozy kind of games like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, Balatro. Then we have FNAF or Poppy's Playtime if you're looking for something creepy. Alan Wake if you're looking for something mysterious and cozy and at the same time creepy. Resident Evil 4 or 7 are my recommendations for true deep horror, especially Resident Evil 7 for that immersive horror experience. Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and then finally Luigi's Mansion, the best fall game you can possibly play. That's my list, but I want to hear your picks below. What did I miss? What are some things that you're really into, you would like to play during this time of year? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments below. And this is the week that Pokemon Legends ZA comes out. I'll be covering that game in, quite a bit as we get into it, especially shiny hunting content. So look forward to that. But until then, we will see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching ZQ1 Plays. Peace out.